I learned literally trial by fire. It was every transaction, every home sale or home purchase was one of learning on the job. A great coach once told me, if you're not growing, you're dying. I didn't ever want to be in that place of just being stagnant. I am a lifelong learner. I'm addicted to learning. I was really surprised at the amount of growth that came from being in real estate, the personal growth, the entrepreneurial mindset that really was born became huge. There was a lot of doubt, and it put me into a really dark hole for well over a year, maybe even 2. I was really frozen. The self-reflection is important because you always have a hand in the situation, right? If that hadn't happened in my life, I would have never dug in as deep as I did. It was in that moment I realized I do have to forgive and I do have to let go. I don't think that people expect us to show up perfect. Sometimes it's about leaning on the people that are around you and allowing them to support you because they want to.
Welcome back, community, to a new episode of the Reveal podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Nieto, and today we're joined by the extraordinary Andrea Beem. She is a dynamic leader, just a beacon of innovation in the real estate industry. And Andrea is the CEO and principal broker and owner of the Beem team and eXp Realty. They've sold over 600 homes. They've got tons and tons of 5-star reviews, and she's going to be dropping her wealth of knowledge and tactical experience from her years of navigating the complexities of the real estate market, matched with resilience. So she got into the real estate industry in 8. So she's definitely came in at a hard time, and she is thriving through every type of market. So undoubtedly, she is a master of strategy. But the best part of Andrea's journey is that it's not just about navigating market cycles, but about transforming challenges into growth opportunities. So let's dive into Andrea's inspiring career and story and uncover some insights that every aspiring entrepreneur and real estate professional can learn from. So buckle in. If you're not driving, grab your notepad and let's dive into the conversation. Andrea Beem, thank you so much for being on the Reveal podcast today. Welcome to the studio. Super excited for the conversation.
Same. I am so stoked to be here and honored.
Awesome. So we're going to jump right into it. We've had some great interactions before. We've met in person a few times, and I heard about your talk on stage last week at Build in Salem, and I just wanted to jump right into that. What Andrea is up to right now, where you are at in your business, what's relevant, what's going on, and then we'll work backwards from there. So what's going on in your business today? Where are you located and what's your focus? Tell us a little bit about your team, et cetera.
Sure. Yeah. So we're in Albany, Oregon, which is about an hour and a half south of Portland, about 45 minutes north of Eugene. If you're not from Oregon, usually people know some of our surrounding areas a little better. Albany has about 50 to 70,000 people or so here. And we have a team of around 10 right now. So a lot of those are agents, but we also have a full-time marketer and we have a full-time operations coordinator and some amazing agents. And we currently are serving all of those surrounding areas from Woodburn all the way down to Junction City and Lebanon all the way over to Dallas, we'll say, the Dallas Monmouth area. So we've been here since 2008 was when I got licensed originally.
So different than crazy.
I know, different. Yeah. It was maybe, according to some people, probably not the best time to join. And my husband was like, "What are you doing?" And don't you worry.
It's awesome to join. I've heard several people talk about joining real estate at that time, but in retrospect, how it turned out to be really the best time because you came in and there were tons of opportunities in real estate. So you had people telling you were a little crazy for getting into real estate then. Tell us a little bit more, just as an entrepreneur, just the mindset and the grit that you've had to endure and create something in your vision that's successful now.
In 2008, 9, and 10, the market was different, obviously, than it is right now. And so I really had to cut my teeth on not knowing any better and the
Mm.
school of hard knocks, if you will, in real estate. And I learned literally trial by fire. It was every transaction, every home sale or home purchase was one of learning on the job and learning by failing forward. There was no guardrails. It was just having to learn as you were making mistakes. Oh, not going to do that again. Or, oh, I can do that better next time. And I think the grit that was involved in it is just not ever letting your mindset get to that place of, I've made a mistake and, oh, I'm not any good at this. And I see that in a lot of new real estate agents. I've mentored a lot of agents and I see that almost like clockwork. I feel like
Yeah.
that they
Part
really
of the
don't.
cycle.
It is part of the cycle. It's I think part of earning your place in this real estate space is we all go through those doubts of, oh, what did I sign up for? What am I doing? Was this the right decision? And I think every single agent probably has some form of doubt they go through, especially in that first year, especially in that first year. So it was a lot of learning. It was drinking through a fire hose all,
Right.
all the time.
So that was 2008. And so fast forward now, what would you say? It seems that you're the type of person that's still in that continuous learning. Like you're definitely
Yes.
like me, like we love our books and like we're constantly
Yeah.
wanting to learn things. And then obviously you're implementing the things that you're learning because you continue to build more success. So tell us a little bit more about the mindset because I feel like we could stay there a little bit longer and just what are some of the behaviors and practices that you have in your everyday life to keep that strong mindset?
A great coach once told me, if you're not growing, you're dying. And there's no middle ground. And that really struck me. And I didn't ever want to be in that place of just being stagnant. I am a lifelong learner. I'm addicted to learning. I love learning. I couldn't stop even if I wanted to. And in this industry, because we know this so well, having been in the industry as long as we have, it's always changing. There's no two
Mm.
days that are the same. There's no two clients that are the exact same or transactions that are the exact same. And I find myself in transactions or situations even now, 16, 17 years in the business, where I'm like, I haven't seen that before. And it gets you and you have to work through it. And you just can't stop learning. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm stagnant. And as a leader of a team, as an owner of a team, and lots of real estate partners, that's not a way to lead, right? If you're not constantly showing vision and growth and opportunity, I don't want to be any other kind of leader, right? I
Right.
make sure that I can shine a flashlight if I can, right? On the road ahead.
Right. Yeah. And it's fun. I,
And fun, yes. It can be so fun. I have so many fun stories of learning that I could fill a whole book by itself.
oh, that would be a great book. Best lesson. So I always say, don't in real estate, don't say that you're surprised because you have set yourself up to be more surprised. What would you say to the 2008 Andrea, something that has been surprising to you as an entrepreneur?
Ooh, surprise.
Yeah, something.
That's a great question. What has been surprising to me? I tend to be a personality that likes to have everything perfect and have it perfect yesterday, which is not
Mm.
realistic at all. And I think as far as surprising is sometimes I feel like it's taken me longer to get to places that I didn't think would take as long as it did.
That is
Um,
good advice.
it's
It's not
especially
set often.
yeah, with that personality, like you want to just go and there's no such thing as a brake pedal. It's just always on the accelerator. And so I think sometimes as far as surprises go, it's just sometimes it's taken me longer to get someplace than I thought it would.
Yeah. And once you get there, because obviously you've accomplished the things that you're out to accomplish, and you're looking back, it seemed like it went fast,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But it's carrying on when people say no. So tell us a couple things just about your implementing right now from something that you learned recently. I know you attend a lot of events and things, and maybe just one or two quick little nuggets that you've implemented into your business or just even your mindset.
Yeah. A really big one that we're implementing right now is a new process I recently learned about from a coach, Dan Martell, who wrote the book called Buy Back Your Time. back here on my shelf. He has a process. He's actually not in the real estate industry at all. And so I think that's why this process he taught was something I was really keen on is it's not something I've really heard about a lot. It's called sales by chat. And it's a way where you earn business and generate leads through your social media platforms in the DMs, in the chats. And it is there's a whole framework, there's a whole process. And if people are interested in that, we actually have a flyer being made up right now with the process all laid out. So that is definitely something that we're implementing is the sales by chat. We use a program called ManyChat
Yeah.
and my marketing director has been implementing that. That's something that we're really big on right now.
Yeah. How's it working for you? Like just getting started, obviously you have to, right? Any new thing that you're implementing, you're going to implement it and then measure it, assess, adjust. How's it going so far?
We track everything. There's a huge dashboard that we use. We track everything from followers to engagements to requests. From the initial onset, I'm really loving what I'm seeing. In terms of the engagement that we're getting and leads we're getting, we trade on two different Instagram pages are our tests. And so it starts with offering value. It starts with offering things for free, whether that's something like maybe for agents, that might be, do you want a copy of my transaction checklist? Transaction checklists are huge. I think just checklists in general are
In
really
general.
important. We do a lot of things repetitively in our business, and I don't want to let anything fall between the cracks. And so my famous saying is, how do you send a rocket ship to the moon with a whole lot of checklists? Right? The checklist might be something for free that we would offer to agents to help them in their business. We don't charge for it. And the same thing can be done for consumers. So if you're an agent working on getting buyer and seller leads, maybe you offer like a senior resource flyer, or maybe you offer a list of homes that have been foreclosed on, or something that would be really considered valuable to a consumer. You offer them for free and you're able to now get in relationship with them in your DMs. Hey, thank you for downloading this document, or thank you for the follow. And that starts the entire sales by chat process. And so we're really loving seeing how this is playing out.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me how when I teach just in general, like different listing lead gen courses and classes and trainings and in my own team. And it's so crazy how many people do not react or engage with the people that are commenting or liking their posts.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to bug them. The only reason why we're doing this is to generate conversations. It's just like the low hanging fruit, right? So it's not about how popular the post was, but it's how many people engaged and how you can reach out and continue to add value. Another thing we're sending out is our pre-buyer consultation, just showing them our process,
Yeah.
which has been really effective. So yeah, so offering something of value, starting the conversation in contribution, and then going from there. So awesome. So appreciate you sharing those nuggets. That's something that one could really lean into. So many, like whether you have a mentor or someone within EXP that's doing it at a high level, you can reach out to Andrea. She's on Instagram. What's the Insta page to share with realtors, Andrea, where people
Yes.
can
So
find
we
you?
have two. If they want to follow me personally, I'm just at Andrea_Beem, and it's two E's.
Yes.
So EEM as in Mary. And then our business page for the team is Oregon Home Hub, at Oregon Home Hub. So that's
Perfect. We'll put those links below as well. Awesome. So tell us about Andrea now. Like aside from all the real estate stuff or being the team leader, who's Andrea as a human, family, background? Like what were you doing before real estate? Tell us more about you.
Yeah, I think it's probably important to start really at the very beginning. Yeah, like 5 years old. My parents divorced when I was five, and my mom eventually, a few years later, moved to Virginia, Tennessee, Virginia area. And my dad had moved to Washington State. And so there were very opposite ends of the United States.
Yeah.
And we moved a lot. My parents were not in the military, but it was just a circumstance of life. And so I lived in probably 20 plus homes before the age of 18, and a lot of moving, a lot of having to make friends at different schools, different places, different neighborhoods. And in the moment, I didn't love it. I hated it, actually. It was not fun to always have to make new friends. It was not fun to always be going to new locations every, couple months or every year. And it was something that I really struggled with growing up. And it's funny because when you fast forward to being an adult and being in the career that I have chosen, I look back on it and I am so grateful for the fact that we did do all that moving. And I did have to make a lot of friends because in real estate, that comes in really handy.
Like, I am an expert at building rapport day one.
Yeah, I've
I
done
love
it
that.
few times.
And you knew a lot about real estate. Some kids, I feel like you don't go to too many houses when you're a kid. You'd seen a good hands, couple dozen.
Yeah. Yeah. This would be, and
I love
very
that.
different types, right? The houses in Tennessee and Virginia are very different than the houses in Oregon. A lot more basements, a lot more brick houses in the Tennessee, Virginia area, a lot more ranch style houses here in Oregon. So it's just very different looking at the two states. But that was my beginnings when just getting into adulthood, I guess you could say. Gosh, there's probably lots of little rabbit trails I could go down in that, but that was
Yeah, tell me about the 5-year-old, the dreamer side when you were that young and moving all around, and you said you didn't like it.
yeah.
It was hard to make new connections. What would you say? Tell us in that moment, do you remember like thinking about what you wanted to do or what life could be later?
Oddly enough, I wanted to be either a missionary or a forest ranger.
Both sound fun.
I actually went to college a
Gosh.
while to be a forest ranger and decided that wasn't actually for me. That wasn't really what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until my kids, so I have two boys. And when those boys were very little, I decided I was going to be a stay-at-home mom for a while. And it was a few years into that when I thought, I got to go back to work. So I
Mm,
can't stay home all the time. I love being
right.
home with my boys, but I needed some variety. And so I decided I've got to go find something that is going to allow me to still be mom, right? And
Mhm.
still be able to take them to the doctor or stay home with them while they're sick. And I looked at a couple different options and real estate was really the one I landed on because my husband's a civil engineer. And so it was a
Mhm.
really good fit. It was a really good fit. And in the beginning, my decision to join real estate was really based on a need. It was a need to have a certain flexible lifestyle. And then lo and behold, I was really surprised at the amount of growth that came from being in real estate, the personal growth, the entrepreneurial mindset that really was born became huge. And it's been being in real estate's been such a blessing.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had an idea in mind that you wanted the freedom, and then a lot of agents come in and they're like, "But there's no gravity. What do I do? What do I do with the time?" So I'm sure there's been a lot of different sort of shaping and molding and growing, and like you said, failing forward fast through your career. Like, what is one of the darkest days or periods of time in your as an entrepreneur that you would share, just to give some perspective on how you got through it or persevered?
Wow, you were asking a good question.
We're getting into this, Andrea.
We're getting in. We're digging in now.
We're digging in. Tell me about your darkest day.
Yeah, we're just gonna go. We're just
We're
going
going
straight in.
straight
Okay.
in. Just
A couple years ago,
to
actually, this
the
is my 5 years ago now. I was in a position where I was leading a small team, about half the size of the team that I have now, and my lead person in the team decided they were going to leave and go do their own thing. And I had made a mistake as a leader. And I look back on this, and in the moment, you tend to do a pity party. In the moment, you tend to look at all of the issues, but you don't necessarily self reflect. And the self reflection is important because you always have a hand in the situation, right? Always. There's lots of books out there, extreme ownership.
if nothing else, yes. If nothing else, how to move forward, right? If
I mean,
nothing else, what can we control? Yeah.
yeah. And unfortunately, that situation put me into a really dark place because it caused me to doubt myself. It caused me to doubt my
Mhm.
abilities as a leader. It caused me to doubt my motivation around some of the things that I was trying to accomplish. There was a lot of doubt, and it put me into a really dark hole for well over a year, maybe even two. Um, I was really frozen. I went backwards a long ways just simply
Mhm.
because I didn't believe in myself anymore. And I look back at that situation because if that hadn't happened in my life, I would have never dug in as deep as I did to the personal growth and into my faith and into just learning how to dig out of it and getting into a place of forgiveness. I think a lot of teams or agents that start to build teams go through something like this at some point. And the forgiveness part is very elusive to a lot of people. And I listened actually to a podcast by Ben Kinney, who's
Mm, he's great.
he's yes, and he's big in the real estate realm. Inman's like top 5 thought leaders in real estate.
Yeah. I just saw him at the
Oh,
Horizon
he was
event in
there.
Newport Beach. Yeah, it's
Yes.
great.
So
He's got
he's
a crazy story.
brilliant. He really does.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah.
And actually, it was him sharing that story that really
Wow, really?
brought me out of the place I was in. He shared the story of, I probably can't even go into all of it. It's tough, right? Like,
Definitely look at Ben Kinney's story. It is extremely
look it up. Yeah. It's
like
made me
take
feel really,
ownership.
it,
This is on you.
yeah.
Don't take no. That's the summary.
What is that? You're doing great.
The super high level version of that story. Oh
It's so
man.
good. But man, it really touches you and makes you go,
Yes.
what's my excuse? What's my excuse for
Right.
not forgiving and moving on? And it was in that moment I realized I do have to forgive and I do have to let go. It doesn't mean that you don't learn something. It
Yeah, you don't have to forget.
right? You don't have to
That's
forget.
what I always say. I will not, I forgive you, but I won't forget.
Yeah. And it really keeps you in the bad place, right? Like somebody gave me an analogy and said that when you refuse to forgive someone, it's like handing them a glass of poison and,
Mm.
or they've handed you a glass of poison or something like that and expecting the other person to be the one that dies.
Mm.
How is that possible? And I don't know, forgiveness can really eat at you. It can really do a number to
Destroy you.
you.
So the podcast was, because I feel like we all have that moment. If we could go back to pinpoint a moment where we flipped the switch and the framework shifted and we started to find a way forward. So that was, I think everyone could pinpoint that moment. But then, of course, we have to find inspiration inside to motivate ourselves, right? No one, I heard last week, I love the way that Cortland Warren articulated it, but he was talking about, and I'm not quoting him, but essentially, we're not going to find that inspiration from others. That's why they say that you need to continue to feed your mindset every day. Like you could be super inspired one day and the next day wake up and be like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
So the podcast wasn't going to get you through. It's that internal discovery that then helped you start forging the path forward. But then you had to consistently feed that mindset and continue to create new patterns and behaviors and everything else. So what would be some advice? Because everything that you're sharing right now is probably something that most every human needs to hear over and over again. So how did you create new patterns and behaviors though to reinforce this new sort of epiphany that you had?
I was actually on a call with Brendan Burchard today, and I think he summed this up
Wow,
pretty
he's
well.
he's
He
amazing.
said, if we solely rely on feeling like doing what needs to be done today, that we solely rely on our feelings or our emotions, then our motivation, if you will, to do the activities that we know we have to do to hit the goals that we have is going to be like a roller coaster, right? Because it's going to ebb and flow with whatever emotion you're feeling in that moment, in that day, in that week. And so coming back to more to a discipline of when people go and work out and they work out like religiously, they don't only work out on the days they feel great or the days that they feel like working out, because if that was the case, they'd probably never go, right?
Yeah, we don't feel like that most often, right? We don't feel up to that.
We usually don't. And so our business is no different, right? Generating business, lead generating, going out and networking, doing the things that we know that we should be doing to move our business forward. You can't always rely just on being motivated or feeling like doing it or feeling good. Like you have to create this habit that it's like brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth every day.
Yes.
Think about it. You just do
The
it.
book I wanted to throw at you while we're here for everyone to read that I think is really takes that message and takes it further, which is recommended to me by James Rember, one of my mentors. The War of Art by Stephen Press.
Yes.
Have you read it?
I'm not. It's
Have you
actually,
read it?
got it not that long ago. It's on my shelf back here to read this year.
It's a great book to even, the great thing is I would read it even just like a paragraph. It's really meant to almost like a reference that you keep going for that reinforcement. But they talk about something that you said actually early when we said, before we started recording in the podcast this morning, which was you're a professional. And for me, that's, hey, Andrea, unexpectedly, we had an issue with our tire traveling back this morning. I'm going to be 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
And then having my computer not come on today. And when I got back into the office and just making it work, improvising and showing up, because even if it's not feeling great and like, hey, can we do this another time? Not for me. Like, I'm a professional. I have to get the stuff done. We have to do the things, whether or not we feel like doing them.
Yeah.
And that book it's such a great book because he talks about the amateur won't do the things that they don't feel like doing.
Yeah.
But the professional is going to show up. And I'm married to an artist. My wife is an artist. And what's interesting is like this book is written by a writer, but of course it's not what he typically writes about. But he was talking about how, especially as an artist, because I've experienced this with Robbie, is like the days where you just feel like creative block. Like we feel like that as entrepreneurs, right? Well, I don't really feel like doing videos, or I don't really feel like writing my blog, or for an artist, I don't really not feeling the vibe of getting into the studio and painting today or using my imagination. But the simple act of doing and showing up and taking the steps and putting one foot forward and putting in the work, all of a sudden, then you can find your inspiration and in those moments of just showing up.
Yeah.
And you don't feel so bad about yourself. But
Right.
it's a behavior, right?
Yeah.
It's not as simple. So share with us like one more thing that you do on a regular basis to keep that consistency with how you show up as a leader.
So I'm going to say grace.
Mm.
And here's why I say grace, because I really love what you were just sharing. And there's 2 points I want to make to that. Number one, I don't think that people expect us to show up perfect. I really don't.
Correct. My hair's pulled back with the black t-shirt. It wasn't what I had planned.
And you're beautiful, right? You showed
Oh,
up.
thanks.
I don't care whether we're putting this in a context of agents showing up for their agents.
Just energy, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
They don't expect perfection, but what they do expect is that you show up with solutions, or you show
Yes.
communication, right?
Yeah.
When things go sideways in a transaction, you don't bury your head in the sand. You call them immediately. You say, this is what's going on, and here's what I'm doing about it. And I'm calling you back in 2 hours, and then you call them back in 1, right? And you exceed their expectation of your solution.
Yes.
And then you do what you say you're going to do, right? But they don't expect.
Period.
They don't. But they expect.
Understated. I don't know who said it recently, but I heard someone talk about how, we are talking about reading the book. Wendy Forsythe had mentioned this is her top read, talking about creating experiences that surprise people.
Yeah.
And how simple, like from the beginning to the end, most people don't really remember the middle. They remember like the beginning and they remember the end. And so
Power of moments.
Power of Moments,
Yeah.
that is one of the books.
Mhm.
That is one of the books.
It's like
But I love what you
peaks. They remember
Yes.
the peaks, but they don't remember that.
And if you always show up, it's like come into the room with energy that puts people at ease.
Yeah.
You could know all the scripts and all the things to say, but the way that you bring that energy into every conversation and you show up, like, how's your day? It could be crappy, but you could still say, it's great. And I'm glad to be here and jump in. Nobody needs the excuses or the reasons why you're late, as so long as you've communicated. Things happen. You're human. It's okay to be human. And I think giving ourselves grace, what you had said made me think of this, is it's almost, you have to give yourself grace and people witness you giving yourself grace, right? It's like,
Yes.
that's interesting.
It's crazily important, and it's very much understated, I think, in our society, because grace is just not something we think of necessarily all the time. And one of the stories that I shared at Build that you were referring to a minute ago,
which I haven't heard.
Yeah. Well,
You're running over, but
the last year was something I never expected to have happen. I'm running along. I've got a business going. I'm working every day. And back in about March or April of 2023, My mom had some medical emergencies that caused her to be in the hospital almost 7 different times for a week stretch every single time. She's got multiple sclerosis and some other issues, and things went sideways really fast. And she lived on her own at that time by herself. She was about 20 minutes away from us. And all of a sudden, overnight, we're moving her in with us. Doctors wouldn't let her come home with us unless she was going to be in our home. And I remember my husband literally taking my 2 sons and going to her house at 11 o'clock at night and getting her bed and getting her clothes and so that we could come home the next day. And I'm an only child, so I don't have any siblings. So it's just me. She had moved into our
No
home.
siblings to blame that you do
No
everything.
siblings to
How else do
blame.
we know that? I do
Yep.
everything.
And so that put some things sideways for a little bit because each of those stints I was working in the hospital room on my laptop.
Wow.
And then no sooner had she moved in with us, my husband had a heart attack and he was in the hospital for a month. And at one point, my husband and my mom were in the hospital at the same exact time. I remember begging the ambulance driver, I said, please, we take her to this hospital because this is where my husband is already at. And I can't be at 2 different hospitals. I don't have capacity. While he was in the hospital, my son managed to get second-degree burns over a quarter of his body. I was in an accident. I rear-ended someone driving to the hospital to get to my husband.
Ew.
And my oldest son was driving over the pass and hit black ice and rolled his truck and trailer and walked away without a scratch. And those are just a few of the things. And it's really hard to not get into the mentality of, and I did, I'm not even going to pretend that I didn't, of you wake up every day going, what's next? What's going to happen now? I don't know if I want to even leave the front door. I would not have survived that time period without obviously my team in place and some really amazing friends and people that surrounded me. It was just, I can't make this stuff up. I can't make this stuff up, Jessica. It was just insane.
I can't even imagine.
And so that is why I say grace, because even in all of that, I was beating myself up about how do I run my business? How do I do this? How do I do that? And sometimes it isn't about you working harder. Sometimes it's about leaning on the people that are around you and allowing them to support you because they want to, right? They want to be there for you. And I had to be really careful. I have this mentality sometimes of I'm going to just do it all on my own. And as people would reach out and I was like, no, it's okay. I don't need anything. I don't need anything. And what I started realizing about 3 months in is, you know what? I do need my friends. I do need that support. So that's why I say grace is because you're going to be in situations that you never planned on and that weren't caused by you, right? They're just blindside you and you're going to have to give yourself
How's your mom?
She's hanging in there. She's hanging there. She has good days and bad days.
How's your husband?
Same.
How's your husband doing?
Same. Yeah.
And your son?
So son's doing good. Senior year of high school. And my oldest just got married. So things are going good. Things are going good.
Oh, Andrea. So yeah, resilience and grace are things that you. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
One said that Ed Milet says it just is one more. It's just the power of one more day.
It is one more.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for me, when my little brother passed last year, and he has a 10-year-old, and I really felt like I would tell others and tell myself things out loud that I feel like I didn't even believe them when I was saying them, but I was trying to believe them.
Yeah.
Like I can carry this and I will continue to grieve at my pace. Like I can do this while moving. I would say out loud, thinking that if I said them, then they would become true. Like many other things that we do in our business, we manifest things. And I thought, but it wasn't, they weren't true. Like it wasn't true. It's really needed to slow down a little bit. So I love that you share that. It's such great advice. It's not so much, like you said, moving faster or doing less, but really allowing people to help you.
Mhm.
And it's scary. And I always say the worst thing that could happen is that it breaks, right? And then there's more change, but you'll figure it out. Like almost funny because what we talked about in the beginning was as a young entrepreneur, as a young realtor in 2008, you had to fail forward. right? And then once you get control everything, it can be scary as an entrepreneur to let go of it and allow people to help you. Because then what if I lose it, I will let all these people down. It's not just me.
Yeah.
And then having to almost relearn to fail forward again.
Yes. In a different dynamic. And you're
Totally different.
true. I actually had the two and two together and I love there. Just painted that. That's
Yeah,
so true.
wow. So great lessons learned today, Andrea. Thank you for sharing your heart and being so transparent and vulnerable and sharing your story to help other entrepreneurs. Because I feel that, it's not just getting through one day, but like, how do you get up day two and really get back in there? And so I appreciate you sharing this with everyone. Thank you for being here today. And we'll make sure, reach out to Andrea Beem. She's coming out with a great, more value that you're contributing to the industry. So follow Andrea and her team on Instagram. And we'll love to have you back sometime, Andrea. Thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. What an incredible journey we've explored today with Andrea Beem on the Reveal podcast. The story is an absolute testament to resilience and the pursuit of excellence in this industry, and her ability to navigate through challenges and inspire not only herself, but her team is truly motivational. And I just want to reflect on today's conversation with this quote that I love by Helen Keller that absolutely, it resonates very deeply for me, which is that character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. And only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. So if Andrea's story of determination and leadership has inspired you, remember to subscribe to the Reveal podcast. Please leave us a review. Share this episode with friends who are eager to transform challenges into opportunities. Let's stay connected, stay inspired. And until next time, keep pushing those boundaries of what you believe is possible. We'll see you next time.